So if you watched my last video, you know that I am prioritizing Black reads and why. Today, I'm going to show you where to start. Hello and welcome back to my Bookish Euphoria. My name is Dani, and on this channel I share nothing but bookish content. If you like that type of content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and follow for more. So in today's video, I'm sharing 10 Black romances that will get you started on diversifying your TBR. Before we jump into it, I will be including the rating that I provided, the spice level, the vibes that it has, as well as why you should read it. Kicking it off with none other than Before I Let Go. This I gave a 5-star, but the general census is between a 3 and a 5. The spice level is roughly 2 stars, or maybe 2.5 if you're a little on the vanilla side. The mood for this book going through is basically it's an emotional roller coaster, but it ends off on healing. That's one thing about Miss Kennedy Ryan. There's going to be a happily ever after. This book is perfect for anyone who likes second chances. If you don't know, this book follows Yasmin and Josiah, who are already divorced. However, it does give you a little background on what led to the divorce. But they have a organized family dynamic. They have their own separate homes, and then they have a family home in which they continue to raise their children, as well as they have a restaurant that they co-run together. With this book, Kennedy focused on the grief, specifically grief after loss of a child, the healing that comes after that, to include the good and the bad. And what makes this book so special is that you're going to laugh, you're going to cry, and you're going to heal. Next, there is Zora books Her Happy Ever After by McCoy. This book I gave a 5-star, but the general census is about a 3 to 5-star rating. The spice level is about a 2 chili pepper, not too tough. The mood for this going into it should be a cozy yet fun read. But it's definitely perfect for book lovers because the female main character owns a bookstore. So this follows Zora, who ultimately lives her life picking out the perfect book for any and everybody who frequents her store. With this, she doesn't have that much room for romance, but when a mysterious author enters her story as an unexpected man enters her life, and suddenly she finds herself caught in between 2 different love interests. I feel like this book is going to have you kicking your feet the whole entire time. Get you a drink, a blanket, and cozy up on your favorite spot in the house and read it. You can read it in one sitting. One thing you should pull from this book is how the female main character prioritizes her own interests ahead of putting romance in the forefront. You gotta love yourself before you can love anyone else. So if cozy romances are your thing, add this to your TBR. Next, there is Reggie and Delilah's Year of Falling. This is a YA romance, so we are not going to put no spice on this. This is maybe a bell pepper, somewhat of a lemon. It's very low on the romantic aspect, but it shows you what the average teenager goes through during their first love. The mood is sweet and nerdy, perfect for geek romance lovers. I adore these characters from start to finish. You have Delilah, who hides behind sarcasm. Then you have Reggie, who is a blurred. I love it. But he has the tendency of not having the courage to make the steps or initiate the things that he wants to do. This book follows them running, or I should say bumping into each other during significant holidays through the calendar year. And they're always on a different path during that time frame. So they don't really know each other or genuinely know each other, but their friendship is really moving towards the next step of not being platonic anymore. They're awkward, they're messy, they're just trying to figure themselves out. I think to me, stumbling onto this book at the time when I read it, it was very refreshing. So I could see you using this as a palate cleanser after a very deep, heavy book. Next, there is Somebody's Wife. This book had a rating of 4.5 stars. I gave it 5 stars. It's very spicy, but the spice is spread out through the book and it's somewhat of a slow burn. Perfect for readers who love a forbidden romance. And note, there is no cheating on the female main character's behalf. So this follows a divorced doctor who finds the woman of his dreams. As mentioned, unfortunately, she's married. But the more we learn about the marriage from the female main character's point of view, you realize everything is not as it seems. Her wall is coming down, and slowly some of the things that she's been hiding or finding out about is ultimately coming out into the forefront, something that she can no longer hide. In this book, everyone has flaws, from her husband to the male main character, even the female main character. So if you're someone who loves emotionally messy romances, this book is right up your alley. Next, there is The Problem with Dating. This book is an enemies to friends to lovers type dynamic. So in the story, you have a dog daycare owner who is recently divorced and a very grumpy chef who are next door neighbors. Female main character needs a fake boyfriend to push off her ex-husband, as well as the male main character needs someone to train his dog. So an even exchange or a plan has been agreed upon between the two to fulfill these needs that they have. The banter is so hilarious. One thing I do want to say is that you will see Alex transform from Mr. Grumpy McGrumpy into a total sweetheart, almost of touch her and you die. There are several occasions that you'll see he has that energy throughout the book. Next, there is Curvy Girl Summer. Of course, I gave this a 5-star. The spice meter, I would say 2 to 3 spices, maybe even 3.5. Again, if you are vanilla. This book is definitely for the rom-com lovers. Basically, if you ever tried online dating, you're going to have some flashbacks. So in the story, you have Aaliyah, who's the female main character. She decides that she's going to get her family off her back about finding love and decides to enter into the dating pool using online dating. She frequents this bar and starts to talk to the bartender to get to know him, or just relieve her stress that she's been going through. And she mentions the whole date journey that she's entering on. So the male main character takes it upon himself to tell her that he will look out for her and make it to where if he sees that something is being done inappropriately, he will stand in there for her. He ultimately assists her with her dates that she has. And this advice opens up a door of chemistry that she never knew was there. This book had me laughing out loud the entire time. Maybe some inappropriate things were done, but to me, I must not have any morals because I was here for it. I love the plus size representation throughout the book. I even love the messiness of the family members. So if you like all that combined into one book, definitely pick this one up. Next, there is Losing Sight. This one, I give it a 5-star. The mood for this book is definitely sports heavy, especially having the representation of a female sports analyst. You're going to love it. It's something different. Add in the magical realism, top tier. The spice in this is definitely spicy, almost 4, I would say 3.5 chili peppers. So this is a unique recommendation. I relate heavily to this female main character. Unfortunately, I don't have my glasses on, but I'm just like her, gradually losing my sight due to my work environment. And I don't want to wear these freaking glasses. Same thing applies to our female main character, but she caves and finally goes and get an eye exam, and she picked out some special glasses that ultimately allows her to see the aura around people, and it helps guide her to the correct person that she needs to be around. I love this book down from the magical realism, the female main character and her issues, everything balled up in one. It was just a perfect book in my opinion. And for you starting off with contemporary romance, it's a perfect fit. Next, there is Bending the Rules. This one definitely to me is a 5-star. It can range between the 3 and 5-star. Definitely there on the spice meter, maybe a 2.5, 3. To me, it's a comfort read. It's the 3rd book in a series. Yes, you can read it alone. However, it will mention some of the characters in the 1st and 2nd book, but you'll still be able to follow along. So this is a female main character who had a childhood friendship with the male main character. They fell out over a disagreement, the male main character. It's not always men, but it's always a man. But he did something unexcusable and never really apologized for it, so it kind of ruined their friendship. But because he's a childhood friend of hers, he came to meet her to talk to her because he needed assistance with setting up a literary gig so he can move forward with his new book he was releasing. Then one day some rules are broken and conversations need to be had. Things need to be hashed out. And when I say you it's messy, it completes, it closes up all those open issues that they have. The spice is spicing. The man falls extremely hard. And you'll see why Miss Christina C. Jones is known for the type of books that she writes. Next, there is Between Friends and Lovers. This one, initially, I gave it a 4-star and reread it and was like, this was not here the first time. So I upped it up to a 5-star. The spice level is about 2.5, 3, but it's very sensual. The mood overall for the story is definitely going to be on the end of healing and very emotional throughout the entire book. The key elements that stick out in this book is definitely learning yourself, prioritizing yourself, and choosing what's best for you, but ultimately finding out who you are. Because as we grow up in life, we tend to change overall. The female main character is a social influencer and she's trying to learn how to accept the criticism and not take it personally, and suffering from mental illness. And lastly, we have King's Distraction. I gave this a 5-star, one, because it was a quick, fun read that wrapped everything up and gave it a happily ever after. However, there were tough topics that were spoken about throughout the text. The spice rating definitely up there with 3 chili peppers. The mood, just think billionaire. Restaurateur. I may be saying this wrong, but sommelier. The female main character specialized as a independent or a freelance sommelier, and the male main character hires her at his restaurant in order to bring business back in. And he challenges her because he's not here for it. It was recommended to him to hire her, but he's not here for it at all. So he doesn't want to do it. However, they bump heads in the beginning. So of course we got that little dislike to lovers because we're not true enemies to lovers unless we are diabolically trying to each other. But again, we have a powerful CEO that's trying to move ahead, make a name for himself, get out of his father's light, and make a name for the restaurant in his own right. And the same thing goes for Iesha. She wants to make a name for herself, and she definitely doesn't want to make a name for herself for sleeping with the boss. So even though they clash, they end up seeing that there is chemistry, acting on that chemistry, but one wants to tell the world, the other one doesn't. Do we know who? The banter is great. I love that this wasn't just romance. There was family drama, business politics, and secrets. So if billionaire romances are your thing, put this on your TBR. One thing I hope this video showed you is that Black romance is not just one thing. You can find second chance romances, nerdy romances, fake dating, romantic comedy, women's fiction, and billionaire romance. That's exactly why I love reading Black romances. Which one of these books are you going to add to your TBR first? Or if you have a favorite Black romance author, go ahead and drop some of those recs in the comments below. So if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Of course, I would like for you to comment below what you liked or what you disliked about this video. And of course, stay tuned for more.